Hello and welcome to the most hated show in the black corner of the internet. This is your host, the whiteologist, Mr. Blows Your Minds. And this is Black Minds News. This channel is to report, articulate, transmit, communicate, relate, unveil, decode, spread the news, whether by news, video websites, or quotes from publications. As I articulate these information, I accept the creator of the universe, be here, heart, soul, mind, and spirit, because why? The truth don't need no partner. As a descendant of the greatest people who created this land that you call the United States, we, the FDA, the Foundational Blacks of America, FBA, biological lineage, historical ties to that which we call BADOS, Black American Descendant of Slaves. Some say Black African Descendant of Slaves. Others say African or American Descendant of Slaves. We, the genealogical historical tie to that bloodline, we give honor to our ancestors. And you know what my motto is? I'm never going to tell you what I heard. I'm only going to tell you what I know. Today's date, July 26, 2019, and what's on the menu for today? Kind of been in the news. Mississippi students who pose with guns in front of Emmett Memorial suspended from the frat. Let me say that again. Mississippi students who pose with guns in front of Emmett Till's Memorial suspended from frat. Well, we're going to take ourselves down to Mississippi and find out what this is all about. So stay tuned for this broadcast. Hey, how's y'all doing? Welcome again to another show. Today's date, July 26, 2019. Again, I'm your host, Mr. Blows Your Minds. And this is Black Minds News. First and foremost, I want to say what's good to my subscribers that should be happening to be in the house. What's good, fam? And new subscribers, welcome to Black Minds News. Passerbys, if you should just happen to be passing by and happen to turn the wrong way on the internet and somehow stumble up over here, welcome to the most hated show in the black corner of the internet. Go through the library, you might see something. It's always a grand opening. If you should happen to see something that makes you feel some kind of way, remember that the motto is the truth don't need no partner. We welcome you over here. Share, like, subscribe, and do all that good stuff. Now let's get into the show. So, I mean, you know, I got switch from screen, right? So we see that in Mississippi, something took place. A lot of people seem to be offended. Other people have glee in their eyes. And the question becomes, we have to ask ourselves, there's one thing to do pranks. Right? You know, some people do pranks more than others. And there's some things that are done that seem to be subjecting a subliminal message, maybe not detected from its appearance, but it's a subliminal subjective thought that will permeate, that will be broadcast, even though you probably thought it was something innocent and we're going to just reprimand. So let's look at this, and I'll come back after that, and then we'll, get into this story here because, again, this is Black Minds News, and we try to report when it's available, right? So here we go. We're going to go into it. Let's get into it.
ProPublica says 3 University of Mississippi students face a possible civil rights investigation by the Justice Department.
Yeah, it's only because I still haven't figured out yet It's a better way to do it this other way that I'm doing it. Till I do that, I always going to have to stop with a little technical difficulty. But let's get into it. 1, 2, 3, let's get it.
ProPublica says 3 University of Mississippi students face a possible civil rights investigation by the Justice Department after a controversial photo of them became public. The image posted to the private Instagram account of one of the groups shows them in front of a bullet-ridden sign honoring civil rights icon Emmett Till. While Ole Miss declined to take any disciplinary action when the picture was brought to its attention in March, the local Kappa Alpha fraternity chapter suspended them after learning of the photo on Tuesday. Till's 1955 murder served as a catalyst for the civil rights movement, and obviously this sign has been, and this memorial has been defaced before.
So just
many times.
Painful to see that picture.
The fact that they're smiling, the fact that they're taking that picture in the dead of night, it's a remote location near the Tallahatchie River. Extreme disrespect. Adam Serwer wrote a great piece for The Atlantic about cruelty being the point. See that there?
You know, these memorials are supposed to teach you about history. To pull a hole through it is probably the definition of ignorance.
Maybe some people can learn from the history at this point now and how inappropriate it absolutely was.
A Covington man.
All right, so I'm getting some monkey business going on around here, right? Right, why is that there anyway? So anyway, go up here. Okay. Oh, and then did no other things too. Okay, so anyway, so you just seen there in the story, right? Talks about how seems like 3 students from old Mississippi University seem to decide that they want to pose for a picture in front of the Emmett Till Memorial sign in Tallahatchie County, Mississippi. And somehow got posted to social media. And once it got on social media, you know you're going to have your, what they call us, the social journalists are going to do their part to, you know, communicate to those that are part of their platform. So the question becomes, to say that they were ignorant, to say that they didn't know what they were doing, to say that this was just, you know, some guys that just got together and decided this would be a good thing to do. Looking at that and posing with AR-15s, bullet holes are in the sign. As you heard in the video, the newscast, it says been many times they have defaced and defamed the Emmett Till Memorial. Again, these are messages being sent subliminally for fear and messages, right? So we see the 3 individuals on there. They only named 2, right? Ben LeClaire, right? And John Lowe. Well, Ben LeClaire is a name that would be French, right? Lowe would be something like an English, Dutch, Germanic, Norman, Swedish, Scott, French type of name, right? And so the third one that was in there, they will not identify who this individual is. So you have to ask yourself, in order for them to have anonymity about one in particular, must mean he's probably tied to somebody of some significance that they didn't want out there. Now, again, as time going, maybe it will. And maybe because of the story I have, maybe some people may say, well, they did name, but according to the story that I've had at this time, they have not identified the third individual. The university would not disclose, and the fraternity would not disclose. Okay? So we see that, we find out that these 3 are part of a fraternity, the Kappa Alpha organization. And so you would assume with a fraternity, is this a fraternal stunt? Could it be? Even though that publicly they might be saying things that they had no idea. And when the chapter captain found out that this had went on, they immediately went and suspended them. Found out in the middle of the night, as he say. And the university said things to the fact of, well, based on this not being any kind of the event of the university, It's not affiliated with anything with the university. It's happening on campus of the grounds of the university. So based on what the frat organization has done, it's sufficient, and we are willing to support, to educate. And okay, so looking at that means the way I am looking at it is that the people who knew when they pulled this stunt, right? They understood all the, ins and outs to make sure that you wouldn't be culpable, right? University. If we suspend, that would be sufficient because, again, they're using it. Well, we're suspending the students, right? See, again, some people, the general's way of just looking at things and not getting to the deeper aspect of again. But so the fact is, you suspending, some people here suspending and think that the school had did it. School has no jurisdiction according to that, no culpability, and they say that has nothing to do with us. Yes, they part of the school, but again, based on how this took place and not on campus support, they had nothing to do it. But the fraternity did. They did what they supposed to do. Isn't the fraternity associated a part of the university? Is the fraternity on campus a part of the grounds or acreage of the university? Okay, maybe not, right? Okay. So we see that the image that they had, a lot of people say it is offensive. At least that's what everybody agreed, that it's offensive. Even the university is offensive. But it did not present a violation of the university code of conduct, right? And as I told about not being on the campus, not being a part of affiliated, right? And so, again, can you pull a stunt? They can just go right down the line and then leave it within our hands. And then again, we say you're suspended, but who will make sure? And even if that being said, what is that, right? So it's not so much about the suspension. It's about what's already been laid and what's been done. Because at this point in time now, a lot of people who don't know about Emmett Till are going to read about Emmett Till, right? So let's say, now this is going to be in the air, right? You say, put it in the air, right? So Emmett Lewis Till, again, he was born July 25th. Isn't that ironic? Born on July 25th. Found August 28, 1955. Again, we know, 14 years old. ADOS, BADOS, right? Was lynched in Mississippi, right? 1955. Again, the whole story is too about being brutally murdered for the fact that, again, supposedly had whistled at a white woman in a grocery store. Not too long ago, we heard that somebody had recanted the story, right? That didn't take place, right? But we see that some people feel like this is a way to send a subliminal message, right? And again, a lot of people say this posthumously became the icon of the civil rights movement. So when you made this gesture, when you sat before there and showed with your guns and the holes in it, you were speaking subliminally to BADOS, ADOS in this land, right? See, something is irritating folks in this land because black folks is wanting to talk about being repaired for the damage that has been done. And so it seems that certain folks seem to like this is the time to say, we're going to send our message. We're going to make it loud and clear. We're making it seem like this was just some prank up stunt, but they're sending the message because, again, you know that Emmett Till was born in Chicago, right? And went to visit his relatives that was supposed to be down like in Money, Mississippi, around the Delta. And you know how the story goes for those who know, and if you don't, go do your research on it. But again, you remember that his mother decided, right, to allow the casket to be open. So again, for a lot of people who already know this history and know what you have seen and the image that you have in your mind's eye about how Emmett looked in the casket. So you don't think that when they sat there and they did this, yes, what you see is the three men with the gun. They have the sign behind them with the bullet holes. And then there's a lot of people who are going to be inquisitive because, again, there's a lot of young ones who don't know. And so now they're going to see. And that's going to put shock value into their minds, hearts, and soul. Even though they may not understand entirely what is being presented in front of them. And even when you seen the newscast, they just kind of went through it and had nothing more to say than another one just being disrespectful, right? Just kind of chide it off, right? And so, what to say, a stunt like this again has to be subliminal. It's the message. It's already been sent. It has nothing to do about what you're going to do with the individuals. The message has been sent. And so, you know, that whole message is to put fear in the hearts and minds of those who are border, those who don't have no clue. That is the damage that what that is to do, right? And so when you look at Old Miss and its history, for those who might not have known, the University of Mississippi acknowledges historical connection to slave labor. Did y'all know that? That slave owners, officials who set policies that stripped African Americans of voting rights after the Civil War. Because, you know, Mississippi was one of those states that was never going to try to comply. And I still don't even know to this day whether they still acknowledge Martin Luther King holiday. Because I think Arizona was one. I think Mississippi was another one. But I think Arizona, based on, again, I think I talked about that, about the Super Bowl, they forced them to, but I don't know if Mississippi ever done it. So you see that the university had unveiled about 6 plaques on its main campus in Oxford to provide information about the history of the school. Now, again, the school, Ole Miss, was founded in 1848. And according to those plaques, supposed to be reminders of their obligation to learn from the past and commit to inclusive future. Now, again, as you heard, as I said about what the university said, you know, there's nothing in their code of conduct that they can reprimand them, but they stand behind what the fraternity has done. And so, you know, again, something got off. Now, they could be in cahoots with it because, again, you know, especially for those our brothers and sisters who come and live in Mississippi, they know really the climate and the whole spirit of what's going on in Mississippi, right? And so, again, their whole thing is they talking about learn from the past, right? That's this new little catchphrase they want to say now. Everything is learn from the past. So a lot of the original buildings were constructed with labor of enslaved Black Americans. 3 of the buildings, including the university's main administration building, the Lyceum, are still in use. That was built by the hands of Black slave labor. According to 2015, it said 38% of Blacks was in the Mississippi population and made up about students, about 13% that was in Ole Miss enrolled, right? But again, their contributions to enslaving, to build the university, which the university makes its money, and so forth. So we have to just say that, you know, this is not a laughing matter. The damage is already being done. There's a lot of people going to see the stuff, and again, they didn't know, young ones. Well, what's this about? And then they see, and then they're going to be shocked. And again, shock value to put you in fear, to put you back in a certain place of mind, heart, and spirit. But again, you know, University of Mississippi acknowledged its connection to slave labor. It admitted to its slave owners and officials who set policies that stripped us, right? But this here, based on you don't want to be known for that, and again, yes, the way it was done to make sure they had no connections, well, it is what it is, right? If a suspension of a frat is sufficient enough, and then talking about, well, we're going to do more education and training, but the subliminal message has already been sent. You don't know how many people that's going to affect. And that was what the whole purpose of that was in the way I'm looking at it. Well, I just wanted to bring this to your attention. Again, this is Black Minds News. I want to just relate to you about what happened at the Ole Miss University and give you a little bit of information. If we're going to do some more research, be my guest to do all that because, again, it is what it is. And, we just got to understand the time and day we in. And, again, the pitch that is coming is due to the simple fact that, again, people see our people at a certain position and other people are coming down. So you're on your way up, there's other people going down. And so, they're going to just show a certain part of their fangs, right? So let me go ahead and end that like this. So go ahead, share, like, subscribe. Again, this is Black Minds News. Until the next show, peace, love, and hair grease and all that good stuff.
Portions of the following program may be unsuitable for younger or more sensitive viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Remember, the enemy has only images and illusions, behind which he hides his true motives. Destroy the image, and you will break the enemy.
I'm here to tell you tonight that the businessmen, the mayor of this city, the police commissioner of this city, and everybody in the white power structure of this city must take a responsibility for everything.
Can you feel it?
Luther and I, and everyone in this arena tonight, are unified by the same great American values. We're proud of our country. We respect our flag. Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired!
Race is when you use your power and influence to subject people into inferiority. Utterances can't be racist.
Look around you, man. They own this shit. They own this couch you sitting on, them shoes you got on your feet, this building, this school, this country, you. We're behind enemy lines, dog.
So you must first of all remember that this system was not originally designed with black people in mind. Right on, and it definitely was not prepared for black people to, in the end, begin to demand their rights and an equal share in this country which they've died for. Right on. Hey, and we definitely are not going back to Africa.
In the church, we used to sing the song, "Good News, the chariot is coming." While you sit here today, knowing that you have come to hear good news, you must realize in advance what good news for you might be bad news for somebody else. What good news for the sheep might be bad news to the wolf.
They say, oh, things are getting so much better for you. In 1849, they was hitting blacks on the head 100 times a day. In 1990, they hit them 48 times a day. Isn't it better? Oh, it's got to be better. You're saying 52 blows.
The only purpose of most black Americans on earth today is to destroy.
I think that's noble. Italians love Italians. When Irish love Irish. But when a nigga loves a nigga, it's an unpardonable sin. They have blood in their hands. When we say they have blood in their hands, we are not saying him, George Bezos, went and killed. But white people colonized us. They dispersed us. They enslaved our people. They sucked our economy dry. They are still sucking it dry even today. That's white people. Tony Blair, George Bush, Napoleon Bonaparte, Leopold, Adolf Hitler, Benjamin Netanyahu. All white people, they are the same. They are racist and they are full of hate.
I've been waiting for you. You have many questions, and though the process has altered your consciousness, you remain irrevocably human. Ergo, some of my answers you will understand, and some of them you will not. Concordantly, while your first question may be the most pertinent, you may or may not realize it is also the most irrelevant.
Why am I here?
Our world is coming crumbling down. The coons are coming.
You got to understand that white America has an uncanny way of making the victim the victimizer. Excuse me, master, for putting my head in the way of your club. Not that your club is brutalizing my head and putting hickeys on it. My head got in the way of your free swing and broke your shiny stick, and I want to apologize for that.
Your life is the sum of a remainder of an unbalanced equation inherent to the programming of the Matrix. You are the eventuality of an anomaly which, despite my sincerest efforts, I have been unable to eliminate from what is otherwise a harmony of mathematical precision. While it remains a burden assiduously avoided, it is not unexpected and thus not beyond a measure of control, which has led you inexorably here.
There are more connections in the human body than there are stars in the galaxy. We possess a gigantic network of information to which we have almost no access.
The Matrix is older than you know. I prefer counting from the emergence of one integral anomaly to the emergence of the next, in which case this is the sixth version.
5 months before me. 3. There are only 2 possible explanations. There were 5 months before. Either no one told me, or no one knows.
Precisely. As you are undoubtedly gathering, the anomaly is systemic, creating fluctuations in even the most simplistic equations.
They control me! I'm gonna smash you to kill you! You can't make me do anything like my friend!
Choice. The problem is choice.
Let us remember that we are not brutalized because we're Baptists. We're not brutalized because we're Methodists. We're not brutalized because we're Muslims. We're not brutalized because we're Catholics. We're brutalized because we are black people in America.
Because white people made him to be what he is. They made him to look evil, because that's their role, to make all of us black people to look evil and to hate ourselves. I can't hate.
You're a nigga till you die. If you're a poor nigga, you're a poor nigga. If you're a rich nigga, you're a rich nigga. But you never stop being a nigga. And if you get to be educated, you're just an educated nigga.
Well, I'm told every day I'm on air that I'm racist because I call out racism. That is maddening to me, and I'm crying about it because it's crazy.
So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is teaching you and I and trying to tell the white man to get this powder keg out of his house. Let the black man separate from his house. Let the black man have his own house. Let the black man have his own land and his own property.
I thought the bitch was white! Damn it! I thought the bitch was white!
That's true.
I think that white people are so guilty, knowing what they've done to black people, that they feel if the deeds were reversed, they would hate the black man if he had done the same thing to them. So it's actually, it reflects a guilt complex on the part of whites when they ask us, do we hate them? And if you notice, Uncle Sam has formed a habit of going all over the world. He calls it the ugly American or the American image. He thinks that everybody hates him because it's a guilt complex. And if you think that if you are worried about Europeans hating you, and they're your allies and your cousins, well, naturally it would follow for you to think that Negroes in this country would hate you, especially in light of what has been done to black people in this country by white people.
Now, check it out. The white ball dominates everything, right? It knocks the shit out the yellow ball, the red ball, right? And the game's over when the white ball drives the black ball completely off the table.
But you have to see that all of this is hypocrisy.
I love Malcolm.
called me the Sunday that he died. I was working Basin Street East. He said, Brother Greg, you coming by today? And I said, Malcolm, I love you. And I said, I love you so much, I don't even want to take a chance to be there. He said, what do you mean, Brother Greg? I said, well, I close tonight, Sunday night at Basin Street East. And I said, but I had my wife book me a flight into Chicago at 8 o'clock this morning. And I'm going to Chicago, and I had way beneath my salary, booked me into a college about 10 miles from the airport. And I'm going to go there and speak this afternoon, and I'm going to stay there until they tell me you dead. Because I'm not going to let this government get two of us for the price of one. And I'm going to call Adam Clayton Powell when I finish talking to you and beg him not to come there. Because today, the United States government is going to get you.